We want to cross over to Nakuru, where there's a march currently as we speak. Marianne Nyambura is joining us live from there. Marianne, where exactly are you and what's happening?
Good morning, Trevor. And yes, indeed, it's the International Women's Day, a day set aside just to celebrate incredible women across the world. Now we are here at the Shabab Social Hall, whereby the march has not yet begun. We understand that it's expected to begin at around 10:30 a.m. today, and we are here at the Shabab Social Hall, whereby the preparations are just going on here. But joining me here is one of the ladies, or rather the event organizers from Ogiek People's Development Program by the name Mora, to tell us more about this. And Mora, kindly join us here and tell us, what do you make of this day, and what do you expect from this event?
Okay, this day realigns with the 5th Sustainable Development Goal, which looks into gender inequality. So this day we're looking at what are the steps that we have made as women towards achieving that goal at either the international level, at the local level, and so today we will be having a march. We have organized as Ogiek People's Development Program. We have organized a march in which about 50 women from Ilchamus, Ogiek, and the Ruiz are going to take part, and other representatives from the civil society. So we are basically trying to tell the people that we have other indigenous women who should be involved in governance processes, in issues relating that to help us to achieve gender equality.
And what are some of those issues?
We have the issues, for instance, land. Land is one of the areas that women from the indigenous communities have been excluded. We have the governance political processes where we don't have enough of representation of women from the indigenous communities. We also have issues relating to the water. So do we have women who can talk about how much is needed, or how much is needed to be invested so that they can access water? Because this year the theme is Think Equal, Build Smarter, and then innovate for change. So what are we innovating? Do we have strategies that we can implement or we can execute so that we can have equality in terms of how many women from the indigenous communities are involved in those processes that lead to development, conclusive or inclusive development? Yeah.
And as you mark this day, in the past, have you had such events, and what has the turnout been like?
We haven't had before a procession or a march like we have today, but we've been involved in other activities by other civil society. But today is a very special day because we have taken the initiative to tell the people, starting from Nakuru, to tell them that we do have the indigenous women, we do have these other communities that either are excluded in the processes for Nakuru County governance processes in Nakuru County, so that they can also recognize them when they are budgeting or when they're doing something that relates to their development. So because we did a report that showed that one of the issues that women do have as a concern is political representation. So if we can have this as an agenda, for instance, today if we have representatives from the government, can they take it up so that they can absorb it and involve the women from the indigenous communities? Yeah.
And tell us, today being the International Women's Day, who do you celebrate today? Tell us some of the women that you celebrate, be it in Kenya, Africa, or the whole world.
Well, let me start with, okay, she's late, but Wangari Maathai was one of the women that we can celebrate because she did a lot for the country. She did a lot in terms of the conservation. She did a lot to tell us that you can use a woman to make a change. So I will prefer to celebrate her for today, and myself, because making the initiative to have the women, indigenous women, come together as an organization, that's a huge let me say a huge achievement.
And what do you hope to achieve after this day? At the end of the day, you've mentioned that there are issues to do with land, water, even political representation. What do you hope to be addressed as at today, now from tomorrow henceforth?
We hope to have a conversation with the government. We hope to have a conversation with other probably civil society organizations within this area, and then we can have something like a memorandum that you can present to the county government to look into. Yeah.
Thank you. Trevor, that is the situation here, and of course we are waiting to see what transpires. The march is expected to begin at around 10:30. So as I mentioned earlier, is that preparations are just ongoing here, but as you heard from Mora, is that they're hoping to address issues, even as the International Women's Day is marked every year, there are still issues that issues to do with gender equality that are still a main issue within this country. So for them, they are hoping to address the issues to do with water as well as land today. Back to you, Trevor.